Hey, welcome to Friday night's video on Doc's Music Theory Lab. I've been working on a guitar series, and tonight I wanted to address an issue. Basically, we started out in this series, and on this channel I talk quite a bit about music theory, abstract theory, advanced musical theory, and the concept of what that means, how to kind of work around that, and where you should be looking to investigate that and experiment with that. Now, when we're talking about the guitar here, this whole series has been focused on the guitar. I was starting guitar lesson 1 up to 34. We talked about the basic components that you have as far as theory that you're dealing with. Then we talked about things like form and accessories, articulations, developing your own technique, developing your own sound. These are things that can take countless hours and can change and experimentation and study and research. And it can cost you a lot of time and money as you progress. Have no doubt that there you can empty all your time and your pocketbook into the whole dang thing if you want and if you can afford it, but you don't have to. And we talked about we talked about a lot of different basic components, and we talked a little bit about abstract theory. That basically, if you'd watch all these videos on this guitar lesson series, that I tried to expose you to abstract theory that basically works out to advanced theoretical concepts that are abstract, sometimes can be experimentational or genrely related, or all kinds of different venues and branching out into areas that are just, it's abstract theory until it becomes some type of an advanced theory concept that's accepted, as, quote unquote, part of, academia. So that can be a very hard concept to learn and get it through your head. That some things just aren't, but that doesn't mean they're wrong, And it's like, I lean more towards trying to teach people to be tasteful. So basically, what I'm wanted to address in this video is we've talked about all these different issues. I'm not going to say that this guitar series is so complete that you'd never watch another video, but at this point I wanted to address most of the issues so that you would really have a good understanding of concepts. I even addressed issues like you being the concept that you are the next hurdle, things like muscle memory and how you learn, how to get rest and relaxation, time away from it. That these are important concepts that aren't part of theory. And then in the last video that I made, I really talked about the meats and potatoes. Really making your guitar cry and sing and walking around and being this tasteful guitarist and putting flash where it belongs. Not letting the light show doesn't have to be going full blast all the time, bro. All that tasteful meat and potatoes, making that guitar cry and sing, bro. That is just, yeah, that is so cool. And that is, part of that emotional output. So where do you go from here? I really am going to stop this guitar series here because at this point I basically think that most of these other concepts, techniques, things like that you are going to experiment and stumble on, you're going to hear somebody else do them and you're going to go, how did Bob do that? Bob did that. Is so cool, bro. What is that little technique that he's doing there? Well, Bob experimented around and came up with something cool, or it's an old technique or something like that. That I'm not trying to get into that because I don't know what kind of genre you might be involved in. I don't know what kind of setup you might have. There are mountains of different styles, techniques, genres, and all kinds of things that I don't want to get into that. I really don't. I don't want to drag you around away from the basics so that at some point you're going to go, I'm really into reggae or rock or classical or, Indonesian, 12-string thing, I don't know, that you really take the information and start trying to apply it to whatever you plan on doing with the guitar, which is going to involve a lot of experimentation and research on your part. Let's say you want to get in a band and you want to be just like, somebody, the guy from Rush, and it's like, so you're really going to study his guitar playing. how he integrates his music theory with his leads and his melodies, and what kind of flashy stuff that he does, and what kind of flashy stuff, or making it cry and sin is acceptable with that type of genre, because that's really what you're focused on. Not exactly, but kind of, pretty close. But I kind of mix it with this other thing, and I'm kind of mixing those together. So you really start studying those genres or those people to really start hearing some other things happening there, and how the music is intertwined together to form that type of sound and that type of genre or that musical form that really starts to excite you and get a fire lit under you, that you really really want to sound like that, or you want to incorporate some of that into what you're trying to do, because you're trying to do something new, but it's not exactly like that, but kind of like that, and da 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 da, and you got to work your way through that. That is a time thing. As you get better and as you spend time with those things, you spend time with your, like the last video I put on here, and you really work on your own style and technique, and you work on the things we talked about in these videos, eventually it's going to cause you to go a couple different ways, and once you start figuring out what direction you're going in and what's going to be important to you as far as your playing, and what you need to work on, what you need to study, and what you need to, what you need in your arsenal as far as your knowledge and your abilities to do what you want to do, then you're much better able to go get information from those different musical forms, or those individuals that are doing the things that you want to do, that you can go, wow, how does he do that? Or why does he do that? Or it's a musical theory question, or it's a styles question, or it's a technique question, or it's, some type of riff that he does, or some type of, lick that he does that's really cool, or, how he does something, or how, the music's, I mean, there's lots of different things that are part of different compositions and genres and forms that are very, intrinsic of how that affects you, and if it affects you positively to where you want to emulate that, or build upon it, or make it better, or do it differently, or whatever, as you decide what you're doing with the guitar. And I know that sounds like a mouthful, and I'm going on and on and on, but at this point you're better finding somebody. If you've mastered the things we've talked about, and you really got a good understanding of all those things, that you're really going to be searching around. You're going to be listening to different types of music. You're going to really be trying to find out what you really want to do with the guitar, and what is important to you as far as the guitar is concerned. And you're going to start going in that direction. That may change, but you at least get started on it. Does that make sense? And as you go, that you find very, people that you consider knowledgeable, that seem intelligent, that you can go, well, I don't really understand this, and why is that, or how do I do that, or is that possible, or is that stupid, or is that cool, or is that like some new kind of thing, or, or that, why is that doing that, why is that theoretical thing, is that abstract theory, what is that, or that technique, or the style, or how that sound, all kinds of multitones of questions that as you start to work on yourself and really listen about what direction you're going and think about it, that you'll be able to really finally target some people, and really spend some time searching out some people that you find intelligent and wise, and that can really help you progress the way that you want to. Does that make sense? Just always remember that if you get on the internet, everybody, with all due respect, that I don't get on there and go, I'm Doc and I'm blah, blah, blah. It's like, this is what I think and what I think I understand, and then you can, go ask 3 other people. It's like going to a doctor. If guitar is important to you, you want to ask some other people. So, if you get in there, when you start searching around, just don't expect everybody you pick up and that you talk to is a theoretical musical genius. They might not be. So just be careful and ask a few different people when you start asking questions, and you start progressing to find somebody that can really give you straight answers. And if it's questionable at all, ask some other people, and get some straight answers so that you can actually move forward with your music. So I really hope you've enjoyed this series on guitar. You can always email me at docslabaudio@gmail.com anytime you want with a question. And I really want to wish you, a great journey on your musical, your musical expedition, and and travels that it's such a joy, and just, yeah, dude, it's a great ride. Ride the wave, bro. So I mean, I hope it was really helpful to help you answer some really fundamental questions, so that as you start tripping around more complex issues in music, composition and theoretical concepts that you start putting together in your productions and what you're trying to do, that you've got a good foundation to work from, so that as you trip around in there, that you're not stumbling over the basic building blocks, because you already got them on your belt and you understand. So peace, hope, love. I certainly hope you enjoyed this guitar series, and my next videos, I ain't quite sure what I'm going to be working on, but it'll be something interesting. Peace, hope, love. I'll see you in the next video.